What's up, beautiful people? It's your homegirl, Miss Shameless, all up in her building. I'm back home. Home. It's been a long time coming, and not only am I back home, I am 40. I'm finally 40, yo. I don't know, I feel like if there's one word of advice, live up your 30s until the very, very final hour, because I feel like I've been saying 40 for the past 2-3 years, and now I'm officially 40. So she's 40, she's fabulous, she is living her best life. And for my 40th birthday, I went to Portugal with my daughter Saga, my husband Max, and his sister, his mother, and her fiance, and it was so much fun. It was also something new. I'm so used to doing solo dolo trips, just me, myself, and I. And then Max and I have traveled and seen so much. And the fact that we got to not only travel with Saga, but with the family was just the official celebration of this new chapter. And that's family for me. And we had a lot of fun. Portugal is very kid-friendly. And I definitely see more travel on the horizon for us. But for now, I'm happy to be home. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel with Max over here to see the home tour. And I will give another tour when it's more like furnished. We're slowly but surely making it more ours, and it's very messy. But I wanted to share with you some of the lessons and stories that I've lived during my 30s. And a really beautiful aspect about my 30s is the footnotes, cliff notes were filmed and posted here on YouTube. I started my YouTube channel when I was 29, turning 30. And at that time, I decided to do a social media experiment on what would happen if I shamelessly promoted myself. And this was born out of this place where I was at in my life. I wasn't where I thought I would be. I thought I would be happily married, happily settled in my career as an artist, and building on a family. And once 30 came knocking on my door, the world and reality that I was standing on completely dismantled. I was going through a divorce. I was not financially stable by any means. I was just dealing with a lot of shame from where I thought I was gonna be at this point in my life. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. So I think the beautiful aspect of my 30s was starting a new endeavor, YouTube, social media, and not necessarily starting off as a fan. I was very judgmental and critical towards social media. It has since transformed my life. 30s was also the start of my journey back to God. Because my relationship in my marriage had crumbled, I literally had nothing to stand on. And so the only thing I could grasp was my faith in God. And I decided to go on a journey by reading the Bible and just exploring my relationship with God in more of a Christian biblical sense. And that completely transformed my life. I went from starting my 30s very bottom, like this is the worst I have ever been in my adult life, and rebuilding, and not just rebuilding, creating a new, beautiful, abundant world for my creativity to thrive and explore. And at the time I had just moved to New York. New Yorkers taught me that, eat or be eaten, be shameless or be shameful. I was an aspiring photographer and actor, and I was working at a photo studio, and I was the intern. I got all the jobs that nobody wanted to do, and I was filing receipts for this photographer, and I just saw the amount of money. I'm talking like between $10,000 and $30,000 he invested in workshops. And just to see what he was investing and spending his money on was mind-boggling, as well as to see that he had people like me working for him. It was a small studio, I think about 5 in-house editors and shooters, an office assistant, and photographers that worked for him. And that experience truly inspired me, along with a lot of other experiences. And fast forward to my being shameless journey, it took me out of financial instability to financial abundance. I had now been able to relocate to Los Angeles, to be more accessible to work opportunities, and close the chapter on my life in New York, which had a lot of struggle and heartache there.
I am over this f***ing I have mad love for Harlem and my neighborhood, but this week alone, there has been one too many gunshots, 4 more, just as I came in after walking Jackie. So now I gotta tell Jay to take a cab home and not to walk.
And with Los Angeles came the sunny shores, okay? She was sunny, bright, she had a tan. I was traveling the world for work. I was really riding this high of social media, and it was new for everyone, myself included. And to be on that first wave was really exciting. This also opened up opportunities. Being Prince's photographer, for those of you that know, I worked with him over the course of a year, and I shot his album cover. And I just remember, like, I had been offered a job to work with him touring. And I was like, man, Maya, who was wanting to be here in New York, to live that life of a photographer, would have so appreciated this. I'm a new Maya who has her own empire she wants to build. And as much as everyone was telling me this is an amazing opportunity, everything in my body said, no, you ain't doing this, we doing you. And I just remember, because I wasn't on Prince's payroll, I was able to see myself and see himself and be honest with the two of us. And I just saw that as creative, like, Prince lived the absolute creative lifestyle. He was in the middle of, he was there, he was living here, and he was able to fly creatives in and out and just really create his own creative hub. But I just sensed a happiness missing from his life. My perception could be completely off, but that was my perception. And I said to myself, Maya, here is this man who has everything at his fingertips, and he's still not happy. Now use that for yourself and explore your own journey. How is this going to resonate with you as you pursue this ladder of success? And so I kept hustling. I moved to LA. I opened my own production office, and I was at the peak of my career in my mid-30s. And then the tides began to shift, and the opportunities were slowing down. The finances were slowing down. And this is at a time when I had salaries and obligations. And so now my creativity and passion is being kind of weighed in the scale with profits and profitability and more opportunities and more. So I was just, eventually I burnt out. By my mid-30s, I had burnt out and I was single and very alone in Los Angeles. And I had to have a conversation with myself. You know, it is fine to choose success and hustle. And that was my motto, hustle, hustle, hustle. But if that is the case, are you prepared to put family on the back burner, or possibly even say goodbye to that ship? Like, do you want to let that ship sail? And I was like, you know what? I think I am ready to give love another chance. And at this point, I'm like, what, 36 years old. And this is now the second half of my 30s. I started to date. I had done this whole like celibate walk, which was super easy when you're single. But now when you're trying to date and see what's out there, it was very confusing. And I'm glad I had done that chapter. I had so many questions because the type of men I was meeting, I was very frustrated. And I couldn't help but think this has nothing to do with them. This has everything to do with you. You need to get clear with you. What do you want? You know, what is it that you're looking for beyond a relationship, beyond a family? And I was able to get clear with that with the help of a therapist who helped me just write out what I want in this life. And that was instrumental to me because now the focus was less about hustle, less about work, and more about me. What does Maya want? What does she need? How can she heal? Because I had done all this self-work, but that self-work is great when you're by yourself. Does it work in action with another person? So I began to date, and I was very clear on what I wanted, so I was able to weed through the distractions much easier. And that's how I met Max, who is now my husband. And at the time, he was an amazing soul friend that I had met on my travels to Colombia by myself. And I had never experienced a friendship like this since college. And what Max represented to me was this healthy journey of companionship. I had never experienced true companionship. Like I experienced romantic relationships, but not necessarily partnership companionship. Like he was my partner in crime. Like I felt that we were equally yoked in a sense of how we view the world, the ideas that we had, the passions that we had. We were both able to understand and see each other. And I had never experienced that outside of friendships. Like my friends, I feel, are where I'm able to see the world more clearly. When it came to guys or intimate relationships, that's where I struggled a lot. And to me, Max was a living example of it doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be these games. It can be friendship. It can be passion. It can be creative. And that was, yes. So Max was the end of my 30s. And what I had learned from the end of my 30s was healing. And I also had slowed down on the hustle. I just put myself first. And now I am a mother to a daughter named Saga, my daughter named Saga. And I am revisiting my walk with God because I feel like I've spent the last few years just taking a step back, reassessing, reevaluating, and also being a mom, being a new mother, exploring that role, being able to have the time and attention and intention to give my daughter. And I feel like 40s is 30s reinvented. It's this whole new world, a whole new set of experiences and beliefs to explore. I've gone back to the basics, which is rereading the Bible. I had read the Bible, started reading the Bible at 29, 30, and it took me 2 years. I'm now doing a Bible challenge on YouVersion to read the Bible in a year. And I've been reading chapters with a new lens. It's an older, more mature lens. I'm seeing things that I never saw before. I have a different understanding for the words that I'm reading. And I feel like I'm about to start a new chapter of abundance. I feel like my 30s were like this. I started here and then I went up and then I went down. And then I feel like I'm on this other arc. I'm in the beginning of my 40s, and I imagine like the sweet spot is like the mid 40s, and she gonna hit again to the lows because she's about to enter 50. And then at 50, I'm gonna be like, whoa, I have all this life ahead of me. I'm gonna do this new wave. So I'm really just excited about my 40s and what my 30s taught me. Since I've shared with you experiences, the 30s taught me that life is ever changing. And if you have a belief system that isn't serving you, Get rid of it, girl. Get you a new set of beliefs. And for me, those beliefs included being shameless and letting go of fear and judgment. I had a lot of judgment towards myself and the world around me, especially social media. And I felt the same way towards the end now too. There's like this whole wave of TikTok and videos, and I'm just on the sidelines being like, I can't keep up with these old kids. No, it's a new wave, it's a new game, and it's creative, and maybe you can explore, maybe you can have fun, and maybe life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Really embrace new chapters and new beginnings. And if you're in a part of your life that you're not happy with, reevaluate, reassess on yourself, and look at yourself and celebrate the parts that you enjoy, and let go of the things that no longer serve you. The 30s taught me that you can do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. Partnership and learning how I am in a partnership was eye-opening, and now seeing how I navigate in a family dynamic, namely with my daughter and my husband, and my new family here in Sweden. I have a whole new life in Sweden, and Max said this funny phrase that I really like, because I used to say like, oh, this is deja vu, or this is the same. And he said this actually feels like a rhyme to me. Like, it's similar but different. It rhymes. This new decade that I'm embarking on rhymes with my 30s, but it is different. YouTube has been my journal for the 30s. I want to think that Saga and beyond will be my journal for my 40s and life thereafter. Woo! Ciao! If you don't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel with my husband. We're way more active there because Max. Also, I'm on Instagram. I'm doing my best to be more active there, but that is the most active platform that I'm on. So follow me on Instagram and turn the notifications on so you do know when I upload a video. But until next time, remember to do you, be you, and stay true. Be shameless. 40, be fabulous, girls.